Hey, Caroline, are you here? All right. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Looking good, guys. I see George Martin. I'm actually going to, I see Chris Bowden. I see Brian Keller, Kat, Cheryl Stewart. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I see Aaron and Doherty, Kari Schultz just coming in. Thank you, Chris. All right, awesome. I see Layla. I see Michelle, both Michelles actually. Diane Beeson just coming in, Philip Reese. Have you guys seen the picture? So Philip Reese did something really cool. So him and I met, uh, what was it, Philip, 10 years ago? So we met 10 years ago on a cruise ship. It was January 2012. First time ever meeting, and we ended up taking a picture together. We're both shaking hands, and he posted it in the Facebook group the other day, which I thought was pretty cool. So thank you for sharing it, Philip. 10 years. I can't believe it's been, man, time flies, right? If you think back 10 years ago, doesn't it seem like such a long time ago? But then when I looked at the picture, it just seems like yesterday. So thank you again for sharing that. Thank you. Caroline should be joining us in just a moment. Actually, I think, Caroline, I see you're here. You may have my name. You may have signed in under me.
Yeah, I got thrown out. I've come back in again.
There you go. Awesome, awesome,
It's
awesome.
going to rename.
All right. You guys can tell I've got a different background in the background here. I'm actually at the beach. I decided to drive down to one of our beach properties yesterday. Just like spur of the moment, I'm like, you know what? Hey, I asked my wife if she wanted to come. Unfortunately, she couldn't because then no one would be home for my daughter to take her back and forth to school and to cheer practice and everything else. So I said, I'm going to come down for about a day or two and just get in like a creative zone, right? I thought yesterday was really nice in North Carolina. It was like, I think yesterday was actually about 78 degrees. And then here in South Carolina, today is going to be like 50 something degrees. So uh, if only we had yesterday's weather here at the beach today, that would be perfect. All right, so Caroline, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording, and then actually, you know what? Let's keep going. We'll edit it out. I had some stuff at the very beginning where I'm just like checking my face and everything.
Yeah, no, I've just been doing that. I've just got stuck in traffic. We're live, are we, Ty?
We're live on YouTube as well, so welcome YouTube to madness.
Excellent.
So, all right, guys. So we're going to start it off. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Monday Morning Meetup, guys. My name is Ty Cohen. I've got my amazing, beautiful, smart, talented, inspiring co-host Caroline Trainer over there, all the way over in the UK. And through the magic of technology, it seems like she's literally in the same room. So we also have some people that are joining us just everywhere across the planet. We've got Diane Beeson. I saw you just came in. We've got Ashley Polk. Ashley, wherever you are, because I know you're always on the go somewhere. We've got Michelle, Tracy.
We've got actually Cipriano, who's just joining us. Might not be able to hear that yet. Actually, I've just let him in Nigeria.
Yep. Marlou.
We just couldn't physically do this, could we, every single 3 times a week if it wasn't for Zoom? How lucky are we?
Yeah, think about that. Like, think about technology, right? So Millicent is in Ghana. I see where she just came. Well, she's actually coming in now. Man, where are you guys from? Just put it. I'm just really curious. I get blown away by all of the different locations. Put it in the chat box really quickly. Let's see where you're at. Ashley says she's tuning in from California now. Okay, awesome. Canada, the UK, Chicago, California, Georgia, Denver, Tucson. Someone else from Chicago. Borno Island in the Far East, where Peggy's at. The Cone of Uncertainty, says Megan Bowden. Budapest, Hungary, which is where Zoltan. We've got Coach Zoltan joining us today.
Hey, Zoltan. Good to see
Layla. Gary Westbury is in Canada. Isabel in San Diego, Kentucky, Utah, Oregon, Nigeria. New Zealand. All right. Very cool. Germany, England, South Dakota, Germany again. Charlotte, not too far from me. Canada, South Carolina, which is where I'm actually at right now, Nancy. Really cool.
How far is it from North Carolina to South Carolina to drive to your beach house?
It
Not
is.
that I'm jealous.
Yeah, it depends on, because we have a few of them that are out here. So we have some that are in North Myrtle Beach, and then we have some that are in like Cherry Grove. So it's about 3 hours, which is not bad. I love driving because for me, driving is like it's like my zone of just like peacefulness. Man, I could even just be in my thoughts. Last night as I'm driving here, it was actually in the evening. I left around 3 o'clock, and at first I said, you know what, I'm not going to talk to anyone. I just want to go in and I'm just going to listen to just nothing. I ended up putting on some John Cougar Mellencamp and actually shot a video of me listening to it. Listen to this one song that I'm really fond of about 10 times. And then my daughter, Maya, my oldest daughter, ended up calling me, and we ended up speaking for like a good hour or so. And then my son, Tyler, I ended up calling him, and we ended up talking for 7 minutes and 14 seconds.
So Tyler's like you then?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. So he'll come in and he's like, hey, Dad, I'm doing this. And they were going to a girls' basketball game yesterday, him and his friends. So I thought that was pretty cool. He's got this core group of friends that he's had since like high school, and now in college, they are kind of bunking together. So I think that is really, really cool. What do you got going on, Caroline? How's your day?
Yeah, I've just had my nails done. So I had a treaty day today. So and I've just dropped some shopping at my mum's house on the way back that I'd got on an online shop. I don't go in shops very often nowadays, just get it all online. So I sort of had to race, but I just left the bag outside because the traffic was bad and I was running against the clock for this meeting. Yeah, had a few meetings. I've had my nails done. So I had a treaty day today. So I've got repeating back. Can everyone hear me? Some shopping at my mum. That's weird. Did you hear that? Or is that just my end?
Yeah, that was just the YouTube channel. We should be good now. It was
really weird.
Trainer in 3D. That's what it was.
That's an interesting concept, isn't it? We've got Gary coming in, your cousin coming in time.
Here we go.
Yes, I've had a good day. Started off with a few meetings. All good to go. A little bit of an update on the old Hallmark side of things. So that's all going pretty well, slowly, but well. I'm very impatient. So I'm just trying to stay in my lane on my own stuff while I wait in positive expectation.
I got it. I love it. There's something about having the patience, right? That just affects us in so many different ways because we want things like right away. And then it's just like, when you get it, you're like, okay, well, this is awesome. But then the feeling kind of goes away after a while, right? You're still grateful, but I think the feeling goes away. There's more of an experience in just anticipating getting the thing than oftentimes just getting the thing. Like who here remembers like getting their first car? Like I remember getting my first car, I think it was about 15 years old. And because in Connecticut, we were able to get our learner's permit at 14, and then we were able to get our license at like 15. So just working for the car and like saving and anticipating what it was going to be like. And it was just amazing, like working this entire summer to get the money and delivering newspapers and shoveling snow. And I had just started working at Walgreens Pharmacy as part of a summer program. So I had all of these plans for the car. And then when I finally got the car, it's like, okay, this is cool, but working for it and everything else and saving up for it and just the dreams I was going to do if it was even better. How many people have ever been there? Like, and I think with an example, I mean, a car could be an example, right? Especially when you're first learning how to drive, when you're younger, but there's other things that happens to us with as well, right? What are some examples that you've seen where that's happened? Like just the anticipation of getting the thing or starting the thing. And then what happens is once we get it, then it's like, okay, well, is this all it was? And I think that's part of being human. And part of being human is just the productivity, right? That having the goals, having the ambition. That's why I think it's kind of dangerous, in my opinion, to retire. So I've always thought, and when I say retire, I mean just retire and just like say I'm not going to do anything. So I've always said if I ever retire, I'm always going to be super productive still, because I think that once we start to retire, then we don't have much to look forward to in the same sense. Dan Sullivan kind of talked about, we get to a certain age and we say, okay, well, we've had and there's even people that will say things like this, right? I've had better past than I will have in my future. My future is less than my past, right? But when you start to look at your future as being brighter than your past, or just as bright as your past, then I think that helps with our longevity in a sense.
Yeah, Megan's put a great quote in, to retire is to expire. Famous Donald Trump, love him or hate him. It's a great quote. Yeah, that's a great one, isn't it? Why have I not heard that before? I haven't heard that before. It's probably a really, really well-known quote that he talks about all the time, but I do normally avoid to listen to him at all costs. But I like the quote. I met him once, Donald Trump.
Did you really? What was that
I
about?
did. Yeah. Interesting how I'm big on, it doesn't matter where you are in life, you treat everyone really well with respect. Right. On your way up, on your way down, whatever. And it was many years ago when I was at university. My university was near the Wimbledon tennis championships courts, which actually aren't in Wimbledon. They're in a place called Southfields just outside of Wimbledon. So I was working every single year. It was great. At the end of our college uni year, the last week always coincided with Wimbledon, and all the students got jobs at Wimbledon. So the first week I got strawberries and cream, first year rather. Second year I got Pim's bar. It got better and better, And then finally I was I was doing court covering as well, which was interesting. And then in my fourth year, I had a chalet, and it was a corporate chalet. It was Phillips, I think.
What is a chalet? Educate us.
So it's like a marquee.
What is a marquee?
Okay, like a tent, like a posh tent.
I'm giving you
Why do we go live? Yeah, so it was this marquee chalet. They used to call them chalets at Wimbledon. And so this must be 30 years ago. Yeah. So obviously Donald Trump was a very successful entrepreneur 30 years ago, and he was there with his wife, Ivana Trump, whatever her name was, and they were so, that was just interesting. Just realized we're live. He was pretty rude when I was serving their table. It was very interesting. Really? Yeah. It's just really interesting. I don't know why I came up with that, but I met Donald Trump, had a conversation with him. He sort of warmed up, but he was generally, because you got a lot of different people there. A lot of people were there to, a lot of famous people used to come in and out of this chalet, and they had, everything, champagne, smoked salmon, lovely food. And then a lot of them then would go to the court, so like centre court, to see the big matches. Some other people just used to watch cricket on the screens that they used to they streamed it, whatever you did back then 30 years ago. They were watching it in these chalets. But we used to have a great time at Wimbledon. We used to just work there for 2 weeks a year to 3 weeks a year, and great job, because you earned lots of money really quickly. You had like a big lump sum. You could just like take the summer off. Which is what we used to do. Say that again.
Sounds like it was fantastic as far as
it was a great experience. Yeah, great experience. I got to meet John McEnroe and all the Bjorn Borg and all the big tennis players. We used to go and watch them practicing on the outside courts. It was great. Yeah, really good. Andre Agassi, all the people that we, heartthrobs when you're in your early 20s, these tennis players were. It's great fun.
And all the people that excelled at really high levels, right? John McEnroe, you talk about Andre Agassi, Donald Trump, right? I mean, all of these people that excelled in different areas of their life. And I think I would imagine it was very cool just seeing how they were in person, right? I think that having a certain level of celebrity or just being this person that people seek and that people, see at this level is kind of challenging in itself. Right?
Yeah,
Especially when you
definitely.
have the demands of being consistent, you have the demands of people wanting different aspects of you, right? Not knowing who's
Yeah,
genuine, who is genuine.
yeah,
Um,
really
make-
interesting.
Very
Um,
interesting.
yeah, and we were very lucky because we had like a circuit of things we used to do. So at uni, it was the catering company that you're working for, and they had this round back in the day of doing Wimbledon and then the Royal Albert Hall events. They were great fun. Where you'd be working in a individual bots, in the Royal Albert Hall. So that could be really often with really famous celebrities, pop stars, that sort of thing. And then there was the cricket. There was the regatta. There's all these different things. So we just did the trail of these things once a year blast, and then we could study the rest of the time and not worry about money.
Yeah.
It was great fun. So then I used to go back to see my parents after that and just go back debt free after acquiring quite a lot probably during the terms. So yeah, it was a great experience. But since that experience, it's interesting to see some really, really famous people and how lovely they are and humble, and then sometimes people that aren't like that, which is actually the minority. But it was a great experience because it also, from that 4 years in pockets of time doing that, while we were students, it made me change my opinion and attitude about everything publicly. So I'd always attempt to never be disrespectful or rude to anyone, whatever job they were doing. It's sort of like, because I remember what it was like working really hard, and sometimes people weren't gracious. So yeah. So do you know the actor Peter Ustinov?
I do not.
He's a very famous British actor, dead now, I think. Oh, yeah, it must be.
I'll look him up.
And Fred Perry, that founded the tennis. I think he was like the first UK tennis. Anyway, it was his 80th birthday party that I was working at, and I fell over. And Peter Ustinov is a very famous actor. He worked with Laurence Olivier, a lot of the biggies. And I fell over and spilt a whole bottle of red wine all over him because I tripped over on like the wet floor, and he was so lovely and gracious. So that was my claim to fame. I spilt red wine on Peter Ustinov, and he was really cool.
And spilling it on him, right? So I mean, that could have gone so wrong, but I think it's all about having just being humble, right? And just knowing that, hey, this is going to happen to anyone.
Yeah. And red wine's the worst, isn't it? Had to be red and not white. So yeah, he was great over his white shirt. So yeah, just an interesting experience that sort of set me up for the world of work after that, I think. Anyway, we digress.
But that ties into the unexpected, which is today's topic. So today, we were supposed to have a guest today that was going to come in and talk about Instagram marketing. We have not been able to get in contact with him, so I hope that everything is okay with him. He was super communicative, and then all of a sudden just dropped off. But that's life, that's business, right? It's the spilling of the wine on someone, and that's not what you expect. So it's like, how do you move on when things are just unexpected, right? When things just don't go the right way. So I have a quote actually for today, and this is from Judge Judy Scheinlin. And she says, if you take control of those things you are better able to negotiate the unexpected. So if you take control of those things that you are better able to negotiate the unexpected. So that's coming directly from Judge Judy. I'm actually going to put this in to the chat box. Judge Judy is actually one of my favorite people. When her show first came on years and years and years ago, we actually ended up going to her show. And man, this had to be over 20 years ago because I was with a girlfriend at that time. So this had to be like 25 years ago that she's been on the air, probably longer than that. But she's been one of my favorite individuals because she is straightforward. How many people have ever watched Judge Judy's show? She's straightforward. She's no nonsense, right? And she's polarizing to the point where, like Donald Trump, you can like her or you can hate her. My wife does not like her at all, right? I love her. So it's funny. She's not taking any stuff. Absolutely, Darlene, right? So it's the unexpected. So how do you prepare for the unexpected when you have a guest that doesn't show up, when you spill wine on someone? And I think the best way that you do that is just by realizing that, hey, things happen. I'm not dead. I'm still alive, right? Now, and this is just a short moment in my life. Like this is literally, in the grand scheme of things, if we think about on average, however old most people live to, this 1 hour episode that we'll do today, where the guest didn't show up, won't be a big portion of my life, right? It won't be a big portion of your life. And also, what's the bigger picture here? Like, is our guest safe? Is he okay? Did a family tragedy happen, right? What's more important? Spilling the wine on someone, right? What's more important? The suit, the outfit, the wine? Sure, there's a moment of embarrassment that's there, probably for both parties, for Caroline, as well as probably for the individual. But also that could have turned into an amazing opportunity there. You get to see how this individual who has a certain level of celebrity, who has a certain level of visibility, handles a situation. And it's now preparing you for, if you get to that point, how you can respond. So
Cynthia said, wine spilling can be a great introduction. It's memorable. I got walked out of the building and I was sacked for that. But actually what happened was I sort of negotiated my way back in and just, just explained that someone had left water on the floor and and he was really lovely and gracious and said, told the manager, this is insane. What are you doing? This is an accident, what if you'd done it type thing. So yeah, they were going to like take me, sacked means fired. They were like walking me out. They didn't suffer any incompetence. And I was like, little student. I was pretty naive back then. I was probably about 19, actually 20. I was like a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great experience for me, but it was a great way to see someone so famous and successful, handling himself, especially when I had him right up there as an idol, because when I was doing my English degree, I was doing Shakespeare, and he appeared in lots of the classic sort of Shakespeare and other sort of classical literature films, plays type thing. So he sort of lived up to my expectations of just being a great human, so yeah, it was awesome. He must be, he was old then, so he must be deceased. I never really sort of followed him later on in life, but yeah, it's interesting. So if things don't get a plan, I'm always into a contingency, like today, it was your contingency, because obviously you just let me know that our guest hasn't been in contact, so we'll do something different, which is fine. We've got lots of topics up our sleeve. But don't you find that daily things happen, and they, on a maybe not daily, but little things like, okay, that didn't work out, so we'll do that. You get quite used to sort of just pivoting all the time, don't you? That didn't work, pivot.
No, I think you're right. I think so. The other day, what's today? So today's Wednesday. So on Monday, we had a major issue with ClickFunnels. I mean, like major, where all of a sudden orders just stopped coming in, right? And I'm like, okay, well, what's going on here? And come to find out, like all of the order forms in ClickFunnels were having an error. And I think what they were doing was they were doing some type of a massive, right, like site-wide update that impacted. So ClickFunnels has been going through this this new phase where they have like a ClickFunnels 2.0, and then they have a ClickFunnels Classic, right? So with all of the updates to ClickFunnels 2.0, the platform that Classic is on has been affected, and the platform that 2.0 is on has been affected. So this is a huge company, right? So think about like to have like these shortages and these outages where all of your customers are affected to some degree. So I kind of dealt with that. And you know, when this happens, you'll find where sometimes the unexpected happens at the worst freaking time. So it happened like at 9 o'clock at night. All right. So it happens like at 9 o'clock at night, and I'm in there mumbling, and my wife can hear me. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, I'm talking to myself literally. And my wife's in the living room. I'm in my office, and she's like, what's going on over here? She probably thought I was a madman because I'm talking to myself. I'm frustrated. I'm like, ClickFunnels is down. And it's like 9 o'clock at night. I was just literally about to go in and just prepare, like wind down for the night, go spend some time with the wife and do some other things. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, Murphy, you got to get better with your timing.
Your
right?
timing's crap. Yeah.
Yeah, your timing is like crap. And then she's like, well, can't you just go and have so-and-so take care of it? And I'm like, that just wouldn't be right. Like, I don't want to, like, yes, I could go in and pass it off to someone else, but I don't think like that would, I don't know, it's a battle, right? With being an entrepreneur. It's like, do you take this unexpected major issue and say, let me just pass it off to someone else?
Willie.
Right. And that's what she said. That's exactly what she said. She's like, can you just go pass it off to Willie? And I'm like, oh my God, that would not be fair for me to go in and reach out to Willie at 9 o'clock at night and say, hey, Willie, can you go in and find out what's going on? So I just sat there and I dealt with it, and I dealt with it for probably about, I don't know, maybe about an hour, and going back and forth with customer support. And finally, I figured it out. So I ended up figuring out the issue before customer support was able to figure it out. And it was just we had a disconnect between Keep and ClickFunnels, because ClickFunnels had like upgraded their API settings, and it was just a nightmare. But anyway, so something like that.
That's quite stressing.
When I first started, it would have drove me nuts. Right? So you have these unexpected things that happen, and now you're able to deal with them a lot better. So I went into my office. Guys, don't give me a hard time about this. I grabbed the lighter, I lit a candle, I put some relaxing music on, and I said, I'm going to solve this, and I'm going to get it done by midnight. And I ended up getting it done within an hour, right? Because
that's amazing. I was going to say, were you up all night? That's cool. Whereas if you'd have panicked, freaked out, it could have taken an hour to get hold of Willie at night, maybe, or you'd have been, just going back and, it's that reaction thing, isn't it? It's like, okay, here we go, solution. And I tend to make a joke of it now, because I used to like go, and really freak out when things happened. And now I'm just like, okay, that's another one. So we're solution orientated, and just, go for it like that. It's really interesting, Ty, and laughing because there's quite a lot of Donald Trump comments in the chat. I'm just sort of reading through them. I don't know whether you've seen, but Lee's got a story. Tracy's got a story. Interesting.
Everyone has a Donald Trump story, huh?
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? How mine was a little story. There's some big stories going on in there. So just never know with people. So yeah, interesting. And Josh is saying biggest celeb I've met was rather gracious and invited me to eat with him when I greeted him at the Swamp restaurant across from Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Is that Gainesville, Florida? Ric Flair was who I met. Hilariously funny and nice. Fantastic. I love it. This is why my daughter loves Central C so much, because it's so lovely to his fans. So she watches all these TikToks of Central C just being just cute and lovely. We love Central C. Yeah, especially because he came from London. It's very cool.
Yeah, that's Harry Styles is from London as well, right?
He's cool. Yeah, he's from further up north, but he's British. He's really cool.
Yep.
My daughter loves him as well.
Yeah, my daughter does too. We went to Harry Styles concerts.
Well, these talented artists coming out of the UK.
Yeah, I just wish he didn't wear the pink boa, but that's fine.
I like his look. I like the bright, flamboyant. I love that look.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with the pink boa. I just think it doesn't match with everything that he puts on. That's why it doesn't match with the blue shorts or whatever it might have, but that's another story. So it's just being prepared for the unexpected, right? Like, so the ClickFunnels issue the other night, had this been 10 years ago, again, it would have been a totally different story, right? I'm super frustrated, and it's all about having a clear head and being able to think and being able to calm yourself down. So for me, what it is it's lighting the candle. It's putting on some music that changes my state of mind, right? So it's all of these different things. It's thinking about the situation differently from a standpoint of why did this happen, right? Or why me versus, what am I getting out of this thing? And it's like, oh, okay, hey, Ty, here's a reminder that the unexpected is going to happen, right? So it's either you, again, be prepared for it as much as you can, because you can almost never be fully prepared for the unexpected. You're never prepared to spill wine on someone. You're never prepared for your guests not to show up, right? Fully prepared. You're never prepared for your processing, your funnel system to completely go down, right? So it's like,
and also it's back to the list, isn't it? When we talk about I want to be an entrepreneur or I want to be a millionaire, whatever, then I need to become that now. So what are the qualities? So whenever I do it, I'm like, okay, well, what would a billionaire do? What would an entrepreneur do? If I'm calling myself an entrepreneur, what would an entrepreneur do with this? They would just say, okay, let's just get on and fix it. And it's going to be, everything's always working out, everything, as opposed to my default in maybe more in the past. And I mean, in the a year ago past, would be, oh no, it's going wrong. That sort of reaction. Whereas now I'm like, it's very much, okay, well, this is an interesting challenge. Thank you, universe. You're going to give me that one today. Well, I'm going to knock this out of the park, and just have that sort of attitude. And then it becomes like, oh, this is interesting. The ClickFunnels down. Yeah. That's interesting, trying to sort of find out a solution for that. How cool is it going to be to figure it all out and work out? And then you've got the solution that that it was because of Keep and the integration. And then okay, so we can avoid that maybe next time, or maybe it couldn't be avoided if the systems are down. But at least next time it happens, you might not even need to light the candle.
Yeah.
Not there's anything wrong with lighting the candle.
No, I've got like 3 of my favorite candles. So yeah, so no, you're totally right? So as issues happen, you know how to approach them, right? It's
a bit like risk-taking, isn't it?
100%. It is absolutely risk-taking. So as things happen, you know how to approach them from a different standpoint. So that's it. Let's see, one of the individuals I actually had a chance to meet some really cool people. Who are some of the most famous individuals that you guys have ever had a chance to meet? And how were they as individuals, right? How were they as individuals? I actually got a chance to meet Tony Robbins, got a chance to meet Richard Branson. Yep. Oh, you got a chance. That's right. I remember you. So I got a chance to meet Richard Branson. I got a chance to meet Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins was really cool. And here's the thing. When I first met Tony Robbins, we were backstage at one of his events. It was in North Carolina, not North Carolina. It was in New Jersey. It was UPW. And a friend of mine, Brian Delaney, introduces us. And it was me and my wife, Melida, Tony and his wife, Sage. And I'm trying to hurry up because in my head, I'm like, man, I don't want to take a bunch of this guy's time, right? I don't want to sit here and talk to him forever. But it was just the opposite. Like, he was the most outgoing individual, the most friendly individual ever. And he literally sat there and just talked and talked and talked and talked. And here in my head, I'm thinking like, I've got a minute. I just want to go in and say hi. And then we're going to walk away after that. We sat there for like 10 minutes, literally talking, right? Again, this is it's his event. We're backstage. There's a gazillion things going on. He could have been super panicky, but again, he's probably done this 1,000 times, right? The first time it probably wasn't so. You get a guest backstage the first time, and you're probably like, what's going on? we only got 5 minutes. I got to hurry up. Got to get back up stage, right? Got to get the show going. But as you have more unexpected events, because this was totally unexpected, us meeting. So there you go. Let's see. Who do we have?
Nimish said he met Boris Becker as well. And said that he, where's it gone? The chat's gone.
So he thought he was going to attack him. So
attack him, yeah. Well, what was that?
You actually met Culture Club, which is really cool because Boy George.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, groups, right? Collectively.
And Marilyn, remember that Marilyn guy that was with them? He used to hang around them, and Pete Burns, they're all together in the hotel room. We walked into their room. So they left the door open. So I was only a teenager. So that was ages ago. That's back in the 80s.
George Michael, he passed recently, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, he's great. Met him. I got to work a little bit with Richard Branson. He's working on our firm. So that was great. The first meeting with him was really interesting because I didn't know this at this point, because he was working with our disputes resolution lawyers, because he was it was ages ago, 15 years ago, something like that. He was going to buy the national lottery in the UK. Camelot owned it, and I think they lost, I think. Anyway, we were working with him, and there was this was all going on. But the first time I met him, before I met him, I was in the building, and I just went to there's like a Starbucks in the building where I worked. It's great. So I went down for Starbucks, walked back up in the lift, got in the lift, and then I, and you just like press the door, I was like looking down with my Starbucks, and looked up, and he was there, just me and him in the lift. Wow. And it was great. And I just went, hi, like this, like you do, in my whatever I was in, can't remember how old I was. Wasn't that long ago, it's 15 years ago. And then he went, hi, you okay? And yes, thank you. And he's just so nice. And we just had this sort of 4-story fire. I think I've told this story before, like 6-second conversation. And then obviously I got to meet him again properly.
Now, did he remember you the second time?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gotcha. All right, awesome.
And it's a bit like Philip shared that story about meeting you on the cruise, and shared that photograph in the Fast Pass group. I don't know whether people got to see that photo. I think that was shared in the main group as well. So Philip felt a little bit when he met you, that conversation with you. That's Philip Reese who's here. That conversation with you sort of had an impact on him for a long time.
Yeah, we actually talked about that, you and I.
And he put a photo in the group, you two together, with that photo on the cruise, on the marketers cruise, wasn't it?
I also met Polly. So Polly, who's here, maybe 10 years ago, Polly or so.
Oh wow.
Yep. So Polly G. And also met the rapper Snoop Doggy Dogg. And where were we at? I think this was maybe California. Yeah, it was in LA, actually. Nicest guy ever. He is one of the richest people. You wouldn't believe he's worth like hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. And yes, at the Job Crusher seminar in Austin, Polly, absolutely. But one of the most humble, hardworking guys ever. So Polly, that was with a good friend of mine, Matt Gill, who we are still amazing friends, Matt and I, right? So that's it, guys. It's like, how do you handle the unexpected, right? So that's your mission for the next couple of days. And just thinking about, like, do you go in and you handle them from the standpoint of, like, the sky is falling, right? Just the standpoint of it's the worst thing that could ever happen. And of course, there's some things that are unexpected, like death, right? Things that we truly can't ever recover from. But I think most things, if we literally sit and think about it, think about our approach, will come off differently. And as you have more and more experiences, as you continue to grow, as you continue to get bigger, as you continue to see things from a different standpoint, you learn to handle the unexpected differently. So that is our mission.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. So many people have put who they've met. I mean, it's incredible. I don't know if you've seen the chat. just some biggie people. And I think it's Brian that said he met George W. Bush.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Incredible.
Rock Hudson, someone said. I think my mom used to like really like Rock Hudson back in the day.
Yeah.
Sister. All right, very cool. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
See you on Friday. Friday, we have a special guest that will be here, I promise you. Our special guest has consistently been here. He's from the community, so we will see him on Friday. And come with bells on, because this is going to be an interesting call. I guarantee you.
It's going to be so good on Friday. He's very special. He's not here on a Wednesday because he's in the, I was going to say office. That's probably not the right word, but I won't give it away. And we spoke on Monday and we chatted about what he wants to cover. Really good. This is going to be really, really great. He's a very, very incredible, very special man. And it's just another example of how many talented, amazing people we have here. And we don't even know the half of it.
No, we have no idea. We always talk about that in our team calls, right? The caliber of people that we have here from every single one of you, from A to Z. So it's really cool. So that is it. All right, guys, we'll see you on Friday. That is my timer there. Our guest today, had he shown up, had a hard cutoff at 8:45. So that was my timer to remind us not to be chatty patties and to move forward. So we'll continue to keep that time. We'll see you on Friday. Have a good one.
See you Friday. Hey, Jane.
Nancy, hope you feel better. All right, bye, guys.
Hi, Barbara, Deb, George.
Thank you, Ty.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I hope you feel better, Nancy.
Darlene says, I'm so grateful that my mom and dad always worked and taught us to prepare for emergencies and to calm down. 100%.
Best teaching you could give, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your kids. Yeah.
Bye, Barbara.
Stay calm.
Hi, and Caroline, you rock. You all are so wonderful.
Oh, thank you. As are you. So are you.
That sounded like Tanya. Was that Tanya?
Tanya, yeah.
No, this is Nancy.
Oh, Nancy. Sorry, Nancy.
I was going to give myself some props.
As are you.
The voice there.
How are you doing, Nancy?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, cool.
Could be better, but it could be a whole lot worse. You know, I look at the sunny side of life. So
are you feeling a bit better?
Oh, I feel great.
There you go. Very cool.
Be prepared to succeed, Donna said. I like that.
Yeah, I was actually just about to read that. Yeah. It's all part of a plan for you. This is Jane.
Yeah.
Right. Experience. Absolutely. Okay.
You know, I was listening to the Happy Pocket Full of Money on audio when I was driving in the car, and I haven't actually listened to that for a long time. I've read it in the past. I thought it's phenomenal. That's all you need.
Yeah, it's an amazing audio. As a matter of fact, we need to get the author. I'm friends with the author of that book. Someone else. Cameron? Yeah, David Cameron Chakundi. So someone else, Lad Mendoza, if you guys know him, he's actually in the Kindle Castro community. He had introduced me to him maybe about 3 years ago, in the middle of the pandemic, actually. So we ended up having a conversation. And so again, we have some amazing people in the community, right? You would never know. You never know. So
it's your homework to get him on the Money Morning Meetup. Yeah,
it would be. You know, the cool thing about it is he wanted to learn more about digital marketing, right? So he's got this amazing book that sold tons and tons of copies. And here he is. He's like, hey, Ty, I want to learn more about digital marketing. How do I go in and create courses? How do I get the visibility? How do I build it? And I'm always blown away because there's just people who don't know the stuff that you guys are learning. Right. There's people that are super famous that have these huge audiences that have the visibility and they don't know the basics. So I'm always kind of blown away by that. Right.
Yeah. You forget that what we've got exposure to, don't you? We just really think that that's normal. And then you go out and have conversations with people and you realize that it's, wow, it's we're very lucky.
Super lucky. Like even like email list building, right? There's so many people who, it's like I talked about the offer of multiple streams of income, right? And then he wrote the book, Multiple Streams of Internet Income. And we're talking at an event and he's like, hey, can you help me with marketing, with my online marketing, with list building? And I'm like, well, how big is your list right now? We can start there, right? We can start doing some retargeting and we can start. And the guy had no list at all. So millions of copies of these books, but no list at all. Right. So it's always interesting. It's always interesting. And you just, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. Right. So here you are, someone that has sold millions of copies of books. Imagine if you had grown your list just by giving someone a lead magnet or a freebie, right? And getting them on your list. On average, you can earn about $1 a month for each subscriber that you have on your list. So he would have done millions of dollars a month had he just focused on. That's why it's so important to build out your list.
Something so simple.
Something so simple.
Like that.
Simple. So building out the list and then staying in contact with them on a regular basis. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, guys, we will see you on Friday. Super special guest coming in. And as I said earlier, guarantee that he'll be here. We'll see you. Stay safe.